Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how I fixed a Quantaray, I think I'm saying that right, a Quantaray MX AF, what is it? It is a 3.5 to 5.6 f/28 to 80 millimeter autofocus lens with an A mount. I think it's a Sony Alpha. I bought a camera at a tag sale. It was a Minolta something, and in its day it had been quite a camera. It came with a lens, came with a Samsonite bag, and the original sales receipt showing the camera had been around a $500 camera when it was brand new in 1997. What I didn't bother to check was why the lens was not mounted to the body of the camera. Well, I got home and I found out why. The tabs right here, and right here were all snapped off. So somebody had apparently dropped the camera or forcibly removed the lens from the camera, which was sad because the body was in mint condition. And Quantaray, I've got a few of them, and they're good lenses. They're not great, but they're good. So I wanted to see what I could do to fix this. So I bought an identical lens on eBay. I bought it as broken for, I think it was $4 and $3 shipping, whatever it was, and decided to replace one locking ring on the eBay lens and replace it with the lens from the camera I got at the tag sale. So I had to learn how to do this on the spot. So if you have an autofocus lens, a Quantaray 2.8, I'm sorry, 3.5 f/28 to 80 millimeter lens. Probably most lenses in this class will be similar. I don't know that for sure, so proceed with caution. So I'm going to show you what I did to fix my lens. Now I've already fixed my lens, so I'm just going to show you how I disassembled this one. I put the broken parts on this broken lens. So I'm going to show you what I did, and you can take it from there, bearing in mind this is a great way to destroy your lens. The first thing I had to do was, there's two screws on either side of the contacts, these are the contacts that operate the lens. You have to remove those. I'm going to try and keep my hands out of the way. These are already loosened, so all I got to do is take them out, because I didn't tighten them back up. So take the screws, oops, try not to lose them. And for this, because it's pretty delicate stuff, I grabbed a set of those really cheap plastic tweezers that come in the first aid kits, the ones that really aren't good for much because you can't pull a splinter with them. So I got the contact mount loose, and you'll see there's a printed circuit strip right there. Do not screw with that or you will be in trouble. There's also 3 screws on this inner ring here that need to be removed. Actually, they only have to, yeah, they have to be loosened. You don't actually have to take them out, although that one came out. And then this part, the inner part here, you can just pick it right up out. Okay, I set it down in the exact same position that I took it out in. It actually only goes in one way, but you never want to be too cocky about this. Then there's 4 screws that hold the actual locking ring, and the locking ring is kind of cheap. It's made of plastic. I'm not surprised at all that it broke. It's not holding on very much. The camera that I bought, while it was very expensive in its day, had a lot of great features. You can tell a significant difference between that camera and say a Canon EOS. A Canon EOS feels like a solid camera. This Minolta had a very chintzy feel to it. Very nice camera, it works terrific, but has a chintzy feel to it. Now, you lift this off, keep this out of the way, and you'll notice that there's a bar right here. Now, all lenses are not created equal. For all intents and purposes, this lens is identical to the one I took off my camera. This bar here, I don't know what it is or does, is longer than the one that on the lens that I repaired. So I had to switch these. I'm not going to take it out, but you'll see for yourself. There's two screws that hold it in place. This does have a certain amount of adjustment in it. So you want to kind of pay attention to where the screws are in relation to the elongated holes that they mount in. So what I did was I took the short one. I want to make sure I'm telling you this right. Mine had a short one. No, I'm sorry. Yes, mine had a short one. It was on this broken ring. I took the short one off this broken ring, put it on the good ring that I removed from this lens, and put the longer one that I did not need back on this broken ring, just to keep it, because I may dig into this lens at a later time to see why the servos aren't working. In any case, I took this off. I switched this bar between the two locking plates, and to reassemble it. And now, I didn't, if there's a certain way to set aperture and focus on this to do this the right way, I don't know it. I just did this on the fly. So to reassemble, I switched my little bar things. I put this back down in here, noticing where the screws are in relation to the holes. Kind of wiggled it down until it set down in there. There is a little gizmo right here that needs to be in the right position. I'm not real worried about this one because this lens is broken. The servos don't work, the focus doesn't work, the nothing on it works. It just happened to have the parts that I needed. So to reassemble, put those screws back in. They do not need to be very tight. Snug is good enough. Because you're driving brass screws into a plastic frame. If you over tighten these, first, you're not doing yourself any favor, and second of all, you could strip the holes, and then you may as well throw this thing away unless you've got another idea. So we set that back in there in the same position it was in. I'm hoping that my camera's not going to cut me off. Trying to keep my hands out of the way so you can see this. Doesn't matter. I'm just installing screws. There, that one went in. And these screws are tiny. This is not actually the right kind of a screwdriver to use. As much as possible, why is that not going down in there? As much as possible, you want to use JIS screwdriver. That's Japanese Industrial Standard. Oh, I see. There's the thing that actually works the aperture has slid beyond its limit. Okay, that's your aperture adjustment. That's actually not your aperture adjustment. That is yeah, depth of field preview. because the aperture on this is all done by the magic of computers. So you've got those 3 screws in there. This screwdriver is actually a little big. It just happened to be what I had on the bench. And you set, very carefully, set your contacts back down in there. And I'm actually going to use my cheap. One of these screws is very nearly stripped, so I also switched out the screws from one lens to the other. Again, my hands are in the way, but I'm just installing a screw. Let's try this again. When I was actually doing this with intent, fixing one lens and disassembling another, I used my loupe so that I could really look at these screws as I was undoing them. I have one of these things. I think I've showed you, where are we? Showed you a similar pair that I've actually replaced these with. They're plastic, they're half the weight, and every bit as good. One more screw. Of course, right down into the body of the lens. If you're going to try this at home, be a little more careful than I'm being right now. As I said, this lens is already busted. I've taken the parts off of it that I want. I've fixed the lens that I care about. So this is pure demonstration with my hand in the way. This screwdriver could stand to be a couple of sizes smaller, but it doesn't really matter because this is going to be a donor, a sacrifice of sorts. But I would like to have the whole series of steps as part of the video. Alright, you get the idea. I don't have the right glasses on and that screw isn't in the best condition. That is what I did. I switched this ring and this cone for the broken ones that were on the lens I wanted to keep. I didn't run into any problems. I was very mindful when I slid all the parts, or this outer ring, the locking ring back in. It did have that tang on it that had to go down inside a slot, and you'll see it when you look in there. As you're pulling it apart, before you pull that thing all the way out, look inside and take note of where it has a groove that it goes into. Take note of where it came out of. I don't think there's anything in there that's going to snap into a different position when you pull it out, but I can't swear to it. Your